get started. I think we're all set. Yeah, I got my usual 3 in here, so we can go ahead. I'll mute everyone. All right, you guys are all muted. If you want, you can turn your cameras off. If not, no worries. And then I'm just gonna change my camera view real quick. And we're gonna get started lying down. So you guys can go ahead and settle into that shape that you like to start your practice in. All right, there we go. Okay, so go ahead and begin to deepen your breath a little bit. Begin to let all of that go. We are just talking about all kinds of craziness going on right now and for the last 8 months or however long it's been. It can start to feel like a lot. So it's important that we take this time out of our day to sort of press pause on all of that, allow ourselves to maybe forget a little bit and just sort of come into this present moment and start to notice all the good that is going on in this exact moment. We just said how we're in our own homes, we're safe, we're comfortable, and those are all things not to be taken for granted. So as you lie here, start to deepen your breath a little bit and start to think about that intention that you want to set for yourself. Maybe you're just focusing on your breath right now for the next hour. You're just going to take some really good breaths, and that is enough. Maybe you have some other intentions or goals in mind that you're going to work on today. Maybe finding a little more balance, finding a little more patience, acceptance, letting go. Those are all important things right now. We might not agree with everything that's going on, but we can work on letting it go or just kind of breathing through it, finding a way to still be okay despite everything else. So go ahead and take a couple more breaths on your mat. And then we'll start to find that full body stretch. So as always, the arms begin to reach overhead, the legs start to extend long if they weren't already. Fingertips and toes can wiggle and ankles and wrists can roll and all that little movement that feels good. Then we're going to take our hands, interlace them over your head. You can kind of keep your pointer finger pointing up if that feels comfortable. And then we're just going to kind of take it over to the left side. So sort of lifting up through the upper body and scooching yourself to the left side of your mat, and then maybe even bringing your feet to the left side of your mat. So what you're doing is kind of making a little side bend, but instead of standing up, we're lying down. So you're kind of leaning to the left, getting a nice big stretch on the right side of the body. Really reach that right arm so that that stretch goes all down the side of the arm. And then slowly starting to come back through center. You can slide your head back to the center of your mat, slide your feet back to the center of your mat, and just take it right on over to the other side. So the head starts to come to the right, the feet start to come to the right, almost like you're making like a little crescent moon shape with the body. Lengthening to the left side now, under the arm, the ribs. And then again, start to make your way back through center. The head comes through center, the feet come through center, and you can start to draw your knees in towards you as you wrap your arms around your legs, giving yourself a little hug, taking that side to side movement if it feels good, or those circles with the knees, a couple in one direction, a couple in the other direction, even lifting your head up off the mat if that feels comfortable, drawing the forehead towards the knees. And then gently placing the head back down on the mat. As we start to roll ourselves up to a seated position, the hands can come behind the thighs as you rock along the spine, all the way up to that seat. And then beginning to sit up nice and tall once you arrive. So take a moment, settling yourself in here. You can rock from side to side a little bit, allowing the hands to gently rest on the knees as you sit up nice and tall. And then on the next inhale, we're going to start to reach the arms up overhead. We're going to do another side stretch, this time sitting. So the right hand comes to the mat. Start to lean over to the right side as you lengthen through the left side of the body. Roll that left shoulder open as you look under the arm. And then on the next inhale, go ahead and lift it back up, relaxing through the shoulders. And take it over to the other side. The left hand comes down, the right fingertips start to reach, looking under that right arm towards the sky. And again, as you inhale, lift it all the way up, We're going to take our arms and bring them to cactus arms or goalpost arms. So the elbows are bending, the hands are at the sides of the body. And then you're going to take your elbows and your hands together. So you're kind of bending them right in front of your face. The right elbow is going to come on top of the left elbow. The backs of your hands are pressing together. Take a deep breath in and lift the arms up, only a couple inches most likely. And then as you exhale, start to draw the arms back down. So maybe your hands are starting to be right in front of your face, or your thumbs are kind of in front of your face. The idea here is that we're getting a little stretch in between the shoulder blades. You should kind of feel the shoulder blades drawing away from each other a little bit as you press the elbows down, the shoulders relax. And then on the next inhale, we're going to unravel that and start to lift the arms up overhead again. That right hand comes back to the side of you one more time, stretched out to the left. Press the hip down, lengthen through that left arm. You can even roll that left wrist a little bit if it feels good. Give yourself a little movement through the wrist. And then on the next inhale, take it back up through center, over to the left side. As the left hand comes to the mat, the right fingertips start to reach to the side of the mat. That right wrist can roll a couple times. And then as you inhale, take it back up through center. Again, finding those goalpost arms, those cactus arms. Elbows and hands come together in front of the face. This time the left elbow is coming on top of the right. So the left elbow is kind of in that right elbow crease. Backs of the hands together. Inhale, reach the fingertips up only a couple inches. And then exhale, draw it back down. So we reach it up to kind of create that space. And then as you draw it down, you're sort of opening up that space between the shoulder blades. The top of the head is still up nice and tall. So see if you can press the shoulders down and lengthen through the head. And then on the next inhale, unraveling that, reaching the arms up overhead. This time as you exhale, start to fold forward, walking the hands away from you. Taking about 3 or 4 breaths here. As the shoulders relax, the head becomes heavy and you start to fold forward. Softening through the back of the body, each inhale creating space, each exhale folding into that space. And then slowly starting to walk your hands back towards you as you make your way back up to a seated position. Bring the soles of the feet together, coming into a butterfly pose. So the feet are together, the hands are interlacing around the toes. Take a deep breath in as you lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, start to fold forward. So drawing either the chest or the nose towards the toes. And then on the next inhale, slowly start to lift it all the way back up. We're going to extend the right leg long, bring the left foot into the right inner thigh, flex those right toes as you turn to face that right leg. Inhale as the arms lift up. As you exhale, fold over that right leg. We're going to take 3 or 4 breaths here. So doing whatever you like to do when we come into this pose. So for some people, that's a lot of movement in the leg. It's massaging the leg, wiggling the toes. For other people, they prefer to just stay here in stillness and breathe a couple rounds of breath. Now we're all going to start to move into this pose a little bit. So as you inhale, you're going to start to lift up. The left arm comes to the mat behind you as you press the body up on the left side. Reach the right fingertips behind you, stretching through that right side of the body. So we're doing this kind of like a modified side plank. And then as you exhale, fold back over that right leg. We're going to do that 2 more times. So you can move with your breath here. Inhale, left arm comes back. Press the hips up, lengthen to the side of the body. Exhale as you fold. And 1 more time, making it as fluid as you can. Inhale, the arms cartwheel up, the hips press the side of the body lengthens. And then as you exhale, you come right back into that fold. The next time you inhale, you can start to sit back up. So lifting up through the upper body. We're going to take the left foot to the outside of the right knee, starting to set up for a twist. The left hand comes to the side of the body. As you inhale, the right arm lifts up. The exhale takes us to the left, twisting over that left shoulder. You can hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Take a big breath in and sit up a little taller. Exhale, twist a little further. Flex that right foot. If the right foot is kind of relaxed and unengaged, try to engage that foot by flexing. And then as we come back through center, we'll go over to the opposite side for just a breath. Big breath in. And again, back through center. We'll extend both legs. Tap the backs of your legs on the mat. And then the right foot starts to draw into that left inner thigh. The left toes are flexed. Your arms are lifting up as you inhale, and then on the exhale, fold it forward. Just like we did on the other side, take these 2 or 3 breaths to do whatever it is you need to do here. Bending the knee, massaging the leg, or just letting your hands rest on the mat and sort of using that breath to bring you into that pose. And then on the next inhale, we'll slowly start to lift it up. This time the right hand comes to the mat behind you as you press the hips up, lengthening through the left side of the body. And as you exhale, fold it forward. 2 more times with your breath. Inhale as you lift it up. Exhale as you fold. One last time. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, fold. And then on the next breath, you can start to come back up with the upper body, taking that right foot to the outside of the left knee, really flexing through those left toes as the right hand comes to the side of the body. As you breathe in, the left arm lifts up. So we're creating some space first to work with. And then as you exhale, you're twisting to the right, hooking the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Take a deep breath in, see if you can sit up a little taller. And exhale a little bit further into your twist. And then slowly coming back through center, we can take it over to the left side, sort of unraveling all of that. And again, back through center, extending both legs, tap the backs of the feet on the mat, and then we'll come over into our tabletop position with the hands and the knees on the mat. The back is nice and flat. And then once you're ready, once you're here in your tabletop, go ahead and move through a couple rounds of cat and cow pose. So inhaling releases the stomach down, the gaze goes up. The exhale rounds the back, presses the ground away from you, big arch in the back. And inhale, stomach releases down, gaze comes back up. Doing that a couple more times with your breath. Creating that connection with the breath and the movement. Slowing it down a little bit if you need to, so that you can take an even longer breath. And then once you complete the round that you're on, you'll start to make your way back through center. So finding a neutral spine again. And then the right toes are gonna tuck, that right foot is going to extend behind you as you just press yourself forwards and backwards a couple times. So keeping the right toes on the mat, the heel presses behind you, and then the top of the head presses forward. So just a couple inches forwards and backwards as you stretch through the bottom of that right foot. And then as you come back through center, that right leg is gonna lift up, point the toes, actually flex through the foot. Let's keep that foot nice and flexed. Press the right heel behind you, almost like you're trying to step on the wall behind you. And then as you inhale, draw that right knee towards your nose. Exhale, extend it long. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back. Exhale, extend it long. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, extend it long. And we'll go ahead and place that right knee back on the mat. You can kind of shake your hips out from side to side a little bit, bringing them towards the ground on one side and then the other. And then we'll take it over to the other side by tucking the left toes, extending the left foot behind you and starting to press yourself forwards and backwards. Left heel presses down and then the toes press into the mat. And then as you start to come back through center, the left leg lifts, flex through the bottom of the foot. As you inhale, draw that knee towards your nose. Exhale, extend it long. 2 more times. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, extend it long. Inhale, last time. Exhale, lengthen. And then bringing that left knee back down to the mat. The hips can kind of rock it out from side to side again. And then we'll start to make our way into our first downward facing dog. So your toes can tuck, your legs start to straighten as your hips press up and back, beginning to kind of feel it out here, feeling how you're feeling today or noticing how you're feeling, kind of moving the feet, moving the ankles, the knees. This is always a great pose to start to check in. If you're feeling a little tired, if you're feeling a little extra energy, you'll probably start to notice it in this pose. So we're all going to roll forward into a plank position. Tuck the tailbone, shoulders come over the wrists. As you exhale, send it back to your downward facing dog. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale like a wave, roll it forward into a plank. The stomach is engaged, the shoulders are over the wrists. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. 1 last time. Inhale, roll it forward. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Good. Start to look up towards your hands at the top of the mat, and then begin to walk your feet to the top of the mat as you come into a forward fold. So those feet are about hips width or maybe even a little wider than your hips. As you just let that upper body become heavy, you start to fold into this forward fold, holding on to opposite elbows or interlacing your hands behind your head. Whatever feels good here. Maybe a little side to side movement. And then beginning to release the arms on the next breath, 1 vertebrae at a time. You'll start to lift it all the way up, reach the arms overhead, maybe a little back bend. And then you're gonna step your feet together so that the big toes are together. Interlace your hands and then press the palms up towards the ceiling. So 1 more time, we're gonna do a side stretch. We did it lying down, we did it sitting. Now we're gonna take it over to the left side, standing as you roll that left shoulder back. Look under, or the right shoulder, sorry. Look under that right shoulder up towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, lift it all the way back up and take it over to the right side. Now we roll back that left shoulder. You can kind of press the right shoulder forwards a little bit. Keep them squared. And on the next inhale, lift it back up through center. We're gonna bring our arms back to those cactus arms, just like we did sitting. Bring the elbows and the hands together. Right arm crosses on top of the left again. This doesn't feel comfortable. Give yourself that hug where you hold on to opposite shoulders. So either option, either a little hug or backs of the hands together. As you inhale, lift up the arms, however they are. As you exhale, fold it forward. If it feels comfortable to step the feet apart again, you can do that. You don't have to have the big toes touching if that doesn't feel good. But you're gonna press your fingertips down towards the mat or press the elbows towards the mat if you're giving yourself that hug. Maybe a little side to side rock. As you just try to soften through the shoulders and the back of the body as much as you can. And then slowly unraveling the arms on the next inhale, we'll lift it all the way back up, reach the arms overhead, and then right back into those cactus arms, those goalpost arms. Elbows and hands come together in front of the face. Left elbow comes on top of the right. Either press the backs of the hands together or give yourself that hug. As you inhale, lift it up. As you exhale, take it back down, forward fold. Bending the knees is okay here. I always bend my knees in this pose. It allows me to get a little deeper stretch in my upper body. Sometimes when the legs are straight, you kind of feel constricted in the back. So bending the knees can actually help you get a deeper stretch in the upper body if that feels comfortable. And then on the next inhale, we'll unravel that, lifting all the way back up, reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, hands come to the sides of the body. Good. Take a minute. That was a lot of bending and lifting, so give yourself a chance to kind of ground down a little bit. And in the meantime, we're going to take a deep breath in and start to lift the shoulders up towards the ears. As you exhale, let them roll down the back of the body. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale as they roll back. 1 more time with your breath. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale, let them release. And then we're just gonna bring that left ear towards the left shoulder. So you're letting your head sort of release to the left side. You can take the left hand and just place it on top of your head, starting to draw the left ear towards the shoulder. Really working on relaxing the shoulders so that you're not lifting the shoulder towards the ear. Instead, you're drawing the ear towards the shoulder. Kind of move the head from side to side a little bit if that feels good, or look towards the ground and then towards the ceiling. And then slowly releasing the hand from the head as you start to lift your head back up through center, and then take it over to the right side. We'll take the right hand, the top of the head, start to press the right ear towards the shoulder. Again, relaxing through both shoulders, the left one and the right one. As you draw that ear just a little bit down, allowing the left side of the neck to sort of release and open. You can even massage it with your left hand if that feels good. And then on the next inhale, slowly begin to lift it all the way back up. We're going to take another breath in and reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. We're going to bring our hands to our shins and take a breath in, a little halfway lift. So flattening your back on an inhale. As you exhale, fold even deeper, forward fold. We're going to bring our hands to the mat and step it back to a plank position. So go ahead and walk your feet, or you can even press it back to your down dog if that feels more comfortable, and then roll it into your plank. Either way is fine, but we'll all meet in this plank position. And then from here, we're going to bring our knees down, untuck your toes as you lower onto your stomach, a little bit slow so that you get a nice little arm workout. And then on the next inhale, baby cobra. So the upper body is lifting, the fingertips are lifting. So in baby cobra, we're only a couple inches off the mat. Your chin is probably not that high off the ground. And then go ahead and press your hands into the mat, finding your child's pose. So the hips come up and back towards the heels, the toes are together, the knees are a little bit apart. We're going to take about 3 breaths here. So allowing that forehead or the chin to start to come towards the mat, softening through the back of the body. As you start to focus on your breath a little bit more, or maybe think about that intention that you set. Maybe that intention is focusing on your breath. And then slowly we're going to start to make our way back into a downward facing dog. So your fingertips are walking back towards the top of the mat. The toes are tucking as you straighten your legs, send your hips up and back. And then turn your gaze so you're looking at your hands again as you walk back to the top of your mat, finding that forward fold. Again, a little halfway lift for space as you bring your hands to your shins. Inhale to that flat back. Exhale as you fold. Each time we do that, fold a little bit deeper. Then on the next inhale, lift it all the way up nice and slow so you don't make yourself dizzy. Maybe a little back bend. And then as you exhale, hands come to heart center. Let's take that little sequence one more time. So we're going to inhale the arms up. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. On the next inhale, your hands come to your shins, flat back. As you exhale, your hands come back down to the mat, and you'll step it back either to your downward facing dog or directly to your plank. Either way, we'll all make our way into that plank. And then the knees come down, lowering yourself all the way onto your stomach. Try to hug the elbows in towards you. This time, maybe a high cobra if it feels okay. You can press your hands into the mat and lift up a little higher. If that doesn't feel good, take the baby cobra again. So see how your back is feeling, see what feels good to you. Don't push yourself beyond what feels good, because this is one of those poses where you don't want to push it. You want to do what feels good. And be kind to your back. And then slowly lower yourself back down onto the mat. One more time, find that child's pose as you press your hands into the mat. Hips come to heels, toes come together. 3 breaths here. And then beginning to make your way back to your downward facing dog by tucking the toes, straightening the legs, sending the hips up and back. And notice how you're feeling. We just did a little bit of a warm up, so maybe you're feeling a little more open, a little more warm, a little more flexible, or maybe just a little bit more tired. Whatever you're feeling, you're gonna start to look towards your hands, walk the feet back to the top of the mat, finding a forward fold. Hands come to your shins as you inhale, lifting it up halfway. Exhale as you fold. The next time you inhale, lift it all the way up, coming to standing with the arms overhead. And exhale your hands back to heart center. Good. Let's take another breath in, reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. This time we're gonna step the left foot back, coming into our low lunge or a runner's lunge. So the left foot is stepping to the back of the mat. That right foot is framed out by your hands. And then once you step that left foot back, you can go ahead and lower the left knee, untuck the left toes as we start to warm up through the hips. So on the exhale, you're gonna press your hips back, fold over that right leg. Before class, we were talking about using blocks for this one. So if you have blocks, this is a great one to use them for. Kind of bring the ground a little closer to you. And then go ahead and press your hips forward, rebend that right knee as you lift up through the upper body. You can kind of lift up your heart and your chest here. Exhale, send the hips back, fold over that right leg. And just taking a couple more rounds just like this. Maybe pausing in either position. Maybe continuing to move. And the next time you come forward, we'll make our way into our crescent lunge pose. So the hips continue to press down. Your hands are either coming to your knee or they're lifting up towards the sky. Wherever they are, the shoulders are relaxed. The gaze is lifting up. The hips are pressing down. And then slowly beginning to bring your hands to frame out that right foot. Tuck the left toes as you straighten that back leg. And then we're gonna step the left foot back up to meet the right. So you're coming back to that forward fold. Maybe you take one giant step, maybe a couple little steps, because that's a big step. So see what feels best for you. And then take that little halfway lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhaling as you fold forward. Inhale, we'll lift it all the way up, reach the arms overhead, a little back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's take that over to the other side. So the next time you inhale, the arms lift back up. As you exhale, you fold forward one more time. And then this time the right foot is gonna step back so that we're coming to that low lunge on the left side. So like I said before, you can take a couple steps to get that right foot back or one giant step, whatever feels most comfortable. Once you're there, the right knee comes down, untuck the toes, and then big exhale, presses the hips back, straightens that left leg as you fold over the left leg. And then continue to move here with your breath, pressing the hips forward as you rebend the left knee, lifting up through the heart and the chest. Exhale as you send it back. Couple more times, just like that. Imagine those hips starting to warm up, loosen up a little bit, breaking up whatever tightness was kind of pressing down into those hips. Break it up, let it go. Next time you come forward, we'll start to come into that crescent lunge. So the hips continue to press down as you slowly start to peel the upper body up. Hands to the knee or hands up overhead. Take your gaze with you towards the sky. And then gently beginning to bring your hands back to frame out that left foot. Right toes are tucking as you straighten that right leg. Again, we're going to step it back up to a forward fold, but you decide how you get there. If you want to take 2 steps, 3 steps, that's totally fine. Forward fold once you are at the top of your mat. Hands come to the shins, flatten your back on an inhale. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, lift it all the way up, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Good. So we're going to reach the arms overhead again. This time, how are we going to do this? We're going to reach the left arm forward, the right arm behind you. You're going to look back towards that right arm. The idea is that the shoulders stay as square as possible. And then on the next inhale, the arms are coming back overhead. And as you exhale, we're taking it over to the other side. You know what? I said that wrong. It's okay for you to open up through the shoulders. You want the hips to keep facing forward. So we're kind of opening up through the chest. So now you're looking towards that left hand. The left hand is behind you. The right fingertips are in front of you. You're looking back. On the next inhale, the arms lift back up overhead. And again, we'll take it over to the other side. So the right hand is behind you. The left fingertips are in front of you. That right hip is pressing forward. You're kind of opening up to the right side, looking towards the right hands. As you inhale, lift the arms up again. Exhale, take it over to the left. Left fingertips back, right fingertips forward. Look towards that left hand. We'll do it one more time on each side. So inhale, lift it up. Exhale, open to the right side. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, take it to the left side, looking towards the left fingertips. And inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. You can feel that in your arms. You don't expect it, but mine are tired after that. Let's bring our feet about mats width distance apart, the shorter side of your mat, so a little wider than your hips. On the next inhale, the arms lift up. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Left fingertips are going to come right in front of your face. Put a little bend in your right on the mat in front of your face, a little bend in the left knee. And then as you inhale, the right arm lifts up. So the left hand is down, the right arm is starting to peel up towards the sky as you twist here, looking towards that right hand. And then slowly starting to bring that right hand back down to the mat. As you inhale, the left arm lifts up. Take the left fingertips towards the sky, press open through that left shoulder. And slowly starting to bring that left hand back down to the mat. You can gently bring your hands to your thighs as you start to press yourself all the way back up. And just sort of step your feet a little closer so they're not as wide on the mat anymore. On the next inhale, let's lift the arms up overhead. As you exhale, take it down, forward fold. Hands are going to come to the mat as you step it back to your downward facing dog. So maybe a couple steps, maybe one giant step. Start to make your way back into that downward facing dog. And we're going to take about 3 breaths here. So you can either continue to move a little bit if that feels good, rolling out the ankles, the knees, or maybe you just start to find some stillness and settle down, slow down. Then we're all going to gently bring the knees down to the mat, coming back to your tabletop position. You can kind of adjust if you need to walk the wrists under the shoulders a little bit as you find your way back to that tabletop. And we're again going to lift that right leg up like we did before, right in the beginning of class. And then this time, the left arm is also going to lift up. So we're going to add on a little bit. Right leg is lifted. And left arm is lifted. On the next inhale, start to draw the knee, the elbow, the nose together. As you exhale, extend it long. 2 more times like that. Inhale, knee, nose, elbow together. Exhale, extend it long. Inhale, draw it all in. Exhale, extend it long. Pause here, not quite done yet. So you can either stay here for a few more breaths, or you're going to bend the right knee, start to reach the left arm back for that right foot. Coming into that little back bend now, trying to open up through the back of the body. Even if you don't have that foot in the hand, you can just be reaching back for it and you're still bending back. Good. And then slowly go ahead and re-extend your arm and leg. We're gonna put the left hand back down on the mat, keeping that right foot up for one more breath. The left foot is gonna slide off the side of your mat, and then we're gonna come into a right side plank or a modified side plank. So the inside of the right foot comes to the mat, the right fingertips start to reach towards the top of the mat. So we're stretching through the whole right side of the body. You're getting one really long line on the right side, pressing up through the hips. Think about bringing that right shoulder towards your ear, looking under that arm. And then we'll slowly start to close it off as you come back to your tabletop position. The right hand comes down, the right knee comes back down to the left, and you can just sort of rock the hips out from side to side. Take a breath for a second before we take it over to the other side. When you're ready, you'll start by lifting that left leg up, point the left toes behind you, find your balance here, and then with control, the right arm starts to lift. Opposite arm, opposite leg. On the inhale, everything draws in towards each other, knee, nose, elbow. Exhale, extend it long. 2 more times. Inhale, draw it in, round that back. Exhale, extend it long. Inhale, last time. Exhale, extend it long. And then that left knee is going to bend. The right arm is going to start reaching back for that left foot. If you have the foot in the hand, start to press it away from you or continue to reach for it. And a lot is going on here. You're doing a deep back bend. You're balancing. So show yourself some grace because this is a busy pose with a lot of components. And then you're slowly going to release the foot. If you have it, re-extend the arm and leg. And then that right hand can come back down to the mat as we set up for that side plank on the left side. So the right toes sort of slide off the mat. The inside of the left foot comes down to the mat. And then the left arm starts to reach to the top of the mat. So think about being in a side plank, except that that right knee is down. So it's kind of supporting you a little more. Roll that left shoulder open as you look up towards the sky. And then we'll take it all the way back down. Left hand comes down to the mat. Left knee comes next to the right knee. Your hips can sort of shake it out a little bit. And then we're going to make our way back up to a downward facing dog. So tucking your toes, straightening your legs. Send those hips up and back. We've been here a couple times tonight. So check in with yourself. See how you're doing now. Take your gaze towards your hands as you start to walk the feet towards the top of the mat. Couple little steps until you're in a forward fold. Take that little halfway lift for space, lengthening the back of the body. Exhale as you fold. Each time we do that, it allows us to come deeper. That's why we do it so often. On the next inhale, lift it all the way up, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to the sides of the body. Good. On the next inhale, we're going to reach our arms back up overhead. As you exhale, you're going to dive it right back down, forward fold. Hands are going to come to the mat as you step the left foot back again. So one more time, low lunge with that right foot forward, hands framing out the right foot. You're going to take the left hand and ground it down, place the left hand on the mat, and the right arm is going to start to peel up towards the sky. Another little twist here as you look up towards that right hand. And then slowly bringing the right hand back down to the mat. We've done this before, but we're going to do our little funky transition into our wide-legged forward fold. So you're going to start to walk your hands over to the left side, twist your feet so that they're facing the side of your mat until you're in a wide-legged fold facing the left side of your mat. So give it a try. And then once you find this shape, go ahead and take any variation that you like. If it feels good to bend the knees and rock from side to side, if it feels good to hold on to opposite elbows, bring your hands behind your head, whatever feels good for you tonight. Sometimes it's good to play around and try something new because we find one pose that feels good or one position, and then we tend to always do the same thing. So it can be good to mix it up and see what else you might like. And then we're going to start to make our way back to that low lunge. So your hands are going to start to walk back towards your right foot as your feet spin so that they're facing the top of your mat again. So you're kind of pivoting on the ball of that left foot. Right toes are facing the top of the mat. And then we're going to step it back up to a forward fold. So you can take one giant step with the left foot or a couple steps. Once you're in that forward fold, find that halfway lift, bringing your hands to your shins and then exhaling as you fold. And then on the next inhale, lift it all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. On the next inhale, we'll reach it back up. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. We're going to find that low lunge on the left side. So the right foot is stepping to the back of your mat. Hands are framing out that left foot. And then you're going to plant the right hand down so that the left arm can start to lift up. Take your gaze towards the left fingertips as they reach towards the ceiling. We're twisting and opening up to the left. So imagine the heart is lifting, the chest is lifting, the throat is lifting. And then slowly bringing that left hand back down to the mat. One more time, we're going to twist into that wide-legged fold. So this time you're going to start to walk your hands over to the right side as you pivot on the balls of your feet until you're in that wide fold facing the right side of your mat this time. And then again, taking any variation that feels good. Maybe you do the same thing as you did on the other side. Maybe you try something new. You can walk your hands way behind you, like you're trying to bring the top of your head to the mat. You can walk your hands really far out in front of you, kind of getting a nice stretch in the sides of the body and under the arms. And then we're going to begin to walk the hands back to frame out that left foot. So again, spinning so that the toes are facing the top of the mat. That left foot is facing forward. You're on the ball of the right foot. And then slowly and carefully, we'll find that forward fold again. Stepping the right foot up to meet the left. Hands come to your shins as you inhale. As you exhale, fold. And on the next inhale, lift it all the way up. Reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. Take another breath in, lift those arms up. Lots of flowing tonight. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. We're going to take it back into our downward facing dog one more time. So go ahead and step the feet to the back of your mat. Last time we're here tonight, so take a breath, settle in, and know that you're done with this one after this time. And then you can slowly start to lower your knees down onto the mat. And we're going to come all the way to a seated position. So you can just bring the hips down as you start to slide your feet out in front of you. Flexing through the feet, kind of having the feet right at the top of your mat as you sit up nice and tall, making a little L shape with the upper body. On an inhale, we're going to lift the arms up. On an exhale, you're going to fold forward. Hands can rest on the shins or the floor, maybe around your toes a little bit. And on the next inhale, slowly coming back up to a seated position. We're going to come into an inclined plane. So the hands are a little bit behind the hips. Your fingertips can either be facing you or facing away from you. You'll know which one feels better for you. Lift up through the heart, through the chest, so the spine is nice and long, the chest is kind of puffing up, and then we're going to start to press the hips up. It's kind of like a reverse plank, inclined plane. You're pressing the hips up, pointing the toes down. If it feels okay, you can let your head release back. If that doesn't feel good, continue to look forward at the body, engaging your core. Draw those hips up a little higher. We're going to hold it for 2 more breaths. And then slowly allowing the hips to come back down onto the mat. You're going to bend your knees, put the feet on the mat, and then just sort of fold over your legs. So give yourself a little hug. You can kind of rest your head on your knees or your stomach on your thighs, whatever feels good. After bending back, it should feel good to just kind of lean forward a little bit. And then you can slowly allow your legs to extend one more time. We set up for our pigeon in a seated position tonight. So we're going to do that little seated pigeon with the feet crossed over each other. So you're going to take your right foot, place it on top of the left knee. It's really flexed. So that right foot is really active. The left foot is active too, actually. Both feet are engaged. Your hands are at the sides of your body. If you're feeling it already, you're just going to stay here. Maybe put your hand on the right knee and just a little bit of gentle weight. If you're not feeling it yet, the left foot can come to the mat and you can start to walk the left foot towards the body or kind of scooch the hips towards the foot until you start to feel that opening in your hip. So keep thinking about your spine here. You want to continue to have a tall spine. You don't want to start leaning forward. So if you notice you are, maybe you slide the foot a little bit further away from you, and that'll allow you to sit up a little taller. Try to relax through that right leg. You're probably tensing the hip a little bit, squeezing the hip a little bit. See if you can focus on just relaxing, softening through the hip, relaxing the breath. Maybe a little rock from side to side with the hips if that feels comfortable. And then we'll slowly start to slide that left foot back down onto the mat, extend the right leg onto the mat, and just tap the backs of the legs. Kind of shake it out as we prepare to set up for the other side. So the left foot is going to start to come on top of that right knee. Take a minute to set yourself up and notice if you're coming further. If this feels good, you're just going to work on pressing that left knee down. If you're bending the right knee, then go ahead and place that right foot on the mat and start to slide the right foot towards the body until you find that sweet spot like you did on the other side. Still thinking about lengthening through the spine. Also the head. Keep reaching the top of the head up. Chin is lifted. You close your eyes if that feels good. About 5 breaths like this. We'll hold this one for those few breaths to allow you to let go of something in those hips, relax something, soften something. And then slowly the right foot starts to slide back down onto the mat. If it was lifted, that left leg comes back down to the mat as you tap the backs of your legs on the mat. Sit up nice and tall. Extend your arms out long as we start to make our way back onto our backs. So slow as you can, one vertebrae at a time, start to lower yourself all the way down, reaching the arms overhead once you arrive with a big inhale. And then with a big exhale out the mouth, let it go. So big, big cleansing breath. And then you can let the arms come back to the sides of the body as you set up for another back bend. We did one back bend already. We've done a lot, but we'll do one final back bend. So the knees bend, the feet come to the base of the spine. And then on an inhale, the hips start to press up towards the sky. You can continue to press your hands into the mat, or you always have the option to sort of wiggle your shoulders under you a little bit more and then see if you can interlace your hands under the tailbone. Either option. See what feels best for you. Try to relax through the thighs, the glutes. You press the hips up, the chin tucks into the chest. Think about that spine gently bending back. And then slowly starting to allow the spine to peel back down onto the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Once your tailbone touches, your hips just softly rock from side to side. Always reminds me of little windshield wipers, kind of just swaying back and forth. And then as you come back through center, start to hug the knees back in towards you again, wrapping your arms around your shins. Give yourself a little squeeze, maybe lifting the head up off the mat, or just rocking it out side to side, or circling the legs. And then you know our options for inversions by now. If you like to use a wall or you have a wall near you, you can slide over to the wall, extend your legs up the wall. If you prefer not to use the wall, then just start to reach the feet up towards the sky as if there was a wall behind your legs. So hands can either be under the hips, sort of sitting on your hands, or your hands can be behind the thighs to support the backs of the legs. If you are using the wall, then your hands can just relax on your stomach or wherever it feels comfortable. We're going to hold this for about 7 or so breaths. Feeling that spine pressing down into the mat from the tailbone all the way up to the upper back. That spine should be connecting to the earth. Shoulders are relaxing down. The breath begins to slow a little bit. And then slowly just beginning to draw the knees back in towards you. If you're on the wall, take as much time as you need to come out of it, or even stay a little longer. And then one last time, just sort of hugging those knees in towards you. And then the arms are going to extend out to either side, finding that T shape as you begin to release the knees over to the right side, setting up for a twist. The shoulders are pressing down towards the mat. You can either be looking towards the right with the right ear near the mat or looking up towards the ceiling. Your eyes can start to close if they weren't already. That breath starts to slow down a little bit. And on the next inhale, slowly drawing the knees back through center and taking it over to the left side. So just gently letting them release to the opposite side. Maybe turning your head in the opposite direction or continuing to keep it up towards the ceiling. About 3 or 4 breaths here. And then gently drawing the knees back through center. The feet can be on the mat. And then we're just going to let the knees release out to either side. So the soles of your feet are together. The knees are releasing to either side. Your hands can either be resting on the inner thighs or on the stomach. You just start to surrender and let go into this pose as we start to come near the end of our practice. Take a moment to check in with yourself. And as always, I like to end by asking yourself what you still need. And it can be different every time. Maybe it's another pose that you need, or it could be something else. It could be a sweatshirt or a blanket or your water before you start to come into your Shavasana. Go ahead and see what it is you still need. And then once you feel ready to start to conclude your practice, you can begin to make your way into whatever shape it is you want to end your practice in. And it could be right here. Some people feel really comfortable in this pose and they are done and they want to just stay right here. That is one option. Or if there's another pose that feels better, slowly begin that transition into that final pose. Perhaps it's extending your legs long, Maybe it's keeping the knees bent with the feet on the mat. Could be on your side, it could be seated. Wherever you are, just try to take up as much space as you need. So you can extend your arms wide. Maybe extend your legs a little wider than usual. Let the eyes float shut if they weren't already. Just allow yourself to become heavy as you melt into your mat. Allowing yourself to be fully supported by that earth that is beneath you. Enjoy these last few moments here in Shavasana. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Gently starting to bring your awareness back to the body. Little movements of the fingers and the toes. Finding any stretches that feel good, maybe a full body stretch or a bend in your knees. Taking as much time as you need to slowly wake the body up. Whenever you're ready, you'll gently start to make your way back into a seated position. As you press your hands into the mat, slowly starting to lift the upper body up. Keep your eyes closed or close them once you arrive, drawing the hands to heart center. So wonderful having you all here tonight, sharing that light and that energy with all of us. Hope you have the most beautiful night, the most beautiful week. Until I see you all again, namaste. Guys.
Very nice.
Thanks,
Great
Jess.
class.
I don't remember it being this dark last week when we ended. I know it was daylight savings, but it's pitch black out.
I had no idea you were so close to the water.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right there.
Yeah, that's funny. Usually you can't see it out the window, but
No.
it is.
It's
Hey,
really
Jess.
Hey, how are you? Ah, it's Kimberly, the infamous iPad. Nice.
Yeah, she decided to join for the first time tonight.
Oh,
That's
wonderful. I didn't even realize you
Really
were there. It's great to have you. Feel free to
Hey,
ask
it's good to be here.
Good. But yeah, I don't remember last week it being this dark after class.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Good night,
night.
everyone. I
Thank
feel like
you.
I'm ready for bed.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We're mole people now.